We're always told to trust our feelings, that they're our most authentic guide. But what if that's a really dangerous assumption? What if, in the big games of your career, your social life, or even just the battles inside your own head, what if your feelings are actually your biggest liability? So here's the core Machiavellian idea we're diving into. It's the thought that your emotions aren't just some personal flaw, they're a handle, a predictable lever that anyone, a rival, a colleague, can pull to make you act against your own best interests. It's a pretty chilling thought, but a really powerful one. So I've got to ask you directly, have you ever made a terrible decision in a moment of pure anger? Or maybe gave up way too much ground just because you craved someone's approval? If you answered yes, well, you've already felt it. Your own feelings can become the very weapon your opponents use to take you down. Okay, so to master this, we first have to really understand the enemy. And in this case, the enemy is inside us. Let's break down the three biggest emotional traps that mess with our judgment, our control, and how people see us. First up is the most common trap of all, impaired judgment. This is what happens when those hot emotions like anger or fear grab the steering wheel. Just think about that infuriating email from a coworker who's trying to take credit for your work, or that flash of panic you feel right before a huge presentation. That is the danger zone. So, what's really going on here? Well, that big surge of emotion triggers your primal fight or flight response. And when that happens, your logical, strategic brain just goes offline. And the cost? Oh, it's huge. You fire off that angry email that torches a key relationship, or you back down from a fight you needed to have, basically handing victory to a competitor. So, the Machiavellian way out of this is simple, but it is not easy. You have to force every single decision through a filter of cold, hard analysis. What's the cost? What's the benefit? Your feelings, they don't get a vote. Period. Okay, trap number 2 is a little bit sneakier. It's all about neediness, that deep desire for approval from your boss, or for a project to turn out perfectly, or for affection from other people. This is what we call the trap of surrendered control. Think about it. The moment you truly need something from someone else, their praise, their validation, you literally hand them the keys to your emotional state. They can now provoke you with a backhanded compliment in a meeting or manipulate you with the vague promise of a promotion. You've just become their puppet. And the solution here? It's all about becoming internally self-sufficient. Your sense of confidence, your sense of well-being, it has to come from you, from the inside. It has to be completely independent of what's happening on the outside. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most strategic trap of all, predictable perception. This is all about the danger of showing people what you really care about, of being genuinely vulnerable. You see, when you reveal your true fears or your deep passions, let's say you let a rival at work know just how much a certain project means to you. You're not just sharing. You are handing them a detailed roadmap to all of your weaknesses. They learn what you value, and because of that, they learn exactly where to press to make you fold. This is where we get to the ultimate Machiavellian tool, the poker face. Now, this does not mean being an emotionless robot. It means that any emotion you decide to show is a calculated performance. It's designed to serve a purpose, not to be a genuine, messy reaction. So we've seen the traps. Now let's talk about the way out. The secret to escaping all this isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about mastering them through the incredible power of detachment. This is exactly what we mean when we say mental dominance. It's not about being cold. It's about becoming an architect. You are building an internal fortress, and you are the one and only gatekeeper who decides which feelings get in and which ones are turned away at the door. So this really boils down to two ways of being. You have the reactor, who's ruled by impulse. Their moves are super predictable, and they basically surrender control to anyone who knows how to push their buttons. And then you have the actor. The actor is guided by strategy. They are calm, completely unreadable, and they command the entire situation because they command themselves first. Now, I know this might all sound a bit abstract, so let's make it super practical. Here are 2 mental drills you can start practicing literally today to start building that internal fortress and shift from being the reactor to the actor. The first practice is something called strategic indifference. And it's really the art of consciously choosing where you're going to invest your emotional energy. This isn't about being passive or a pushover. It's about being incredibly economical with your focus. You'll find that most provocations just aren't worth a reaction. So here's how you do it. When you feel that spark of anger or anxiety, the very first step always is to just pause. Take a breath. This creates a little circuit breaker for your impulsive brain. Then you ask yourself one critical question. Does reacting to this actually serve my long-term goal? If the answer is no, you dismiss it. It's just noise, irrelevant. Okay, practice number 2 is a really powerful mental shift. You have to learn to see emotional situations as an observer, not as a participant. Think of the drama as a science experiment, and you're the one with the microscope, just studying the data. So when your colleague is panicking or your competitor is making some emotional plea, you don't get sucked into the chaos with them, no. Instead, you see their outburst as a valuable piece of data that's revealing their weaknesses. You can actually start to predict their next move. And all the while, your own calm, your stillness in their storm, projects this supreme confidence and control. Trust me, it's very unsettling for people who rely on getting a reaction out of you. So how do we bring all this together? Well, understanding these traps and practicing these drills serves one ultimate goal: to transform you from a predictable pawn in someone else's game into the unreadable actor who directs the entire play. When it comes down to it, when you finally master your internal world, you get the power to set the terms for every single external situation. You are no longer just reacting to what the world throws at you, you are making the world react to you. And this, right here, is the ultimate advantage. Look, your strategies can be copied, your resources can be matched, but your internal state, your calm, your detachment, that's the one variable that is completely under your control. And that makes it totally invisible, and therefore untouchable to your rivals. It's the ultimate strategic high ground. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Your mind is the one fortress your rivals can never break into, the one variable they can never, ever control. What are you going to do with that power?